Hello everyone, welcome to our channel BISP Solution. Now let's start our today's session. So this is our today's agenda where we will cover one topic is back-to-back sales order process, nothing but a B2B sales order process, right? So first we will see what is back-to-back sales order process, and later on we will see what is the required setups we have to perform in this application, and then we will see the navigation of this sales order process back to back, right? Because our instance gets refreshed, so all our previously setups gets refreshed also, right? So we will only navigate to that particular setup, and because most of the things we will already done in our previously sessions, so we will see some required setup for back-to-back sales order process, right? And based on these setups, we can perform these tasks, right? So let's see what is back-to-back and B2B sales order process. Now let's take one scenario for this customer, organization, and the supplier. Suppose we have a customer name is A, and he required some laptop, right? So initially he ordered some laptop, like 100 laptop for our organization, that is organization X, right? So he send the requirement for our organization, right? So the organization have some inventory, but the inventory is not the, you can say, the big inventory. So he can we cannot take, and we cannot stock lots of material, lots of the items in our inventory. So we just take the order from the customer, and we'll order the supplier for that item, right? So our organization create a purchase order, and you can say the first he create the purchase application and the purchase order, and for the supplier, right? The organization create the purchase order for this supplier for the 100 laptop, right? And later on this supplier supply the material, the 100 laptop, to our organization, and the organization at the end shipped the 100 laptop for a customer. So the organization don't have the enough space in our inventory organization. So at that time he take the order from the customer and put the purchase order to the supplier, and wait for our supplier or wait for the item from the supplier, and then he shipped the item to the customer. So that is called a back to back sell order process, right? So most of the organization will do this process, because so many organization don't have any big space, and you can say enough space to take the material, all the material, right? We have the laptops, TV, fridges, and all the electronics item. So he cannot manage, and they cannot manage the items, right? So he take the order from the customer and put this to the supplier, take the item from the supplier, and again shipped to our customer, right? So this is the whole back to back sales order process, right? So what is the basic requirement, basic setups for this B2B sales order in our organization? Let's see. Suppose we don't have any item, so you create the item. If you have any item, so you set the price. One option in this item label, we have to enable this B2B attribute, right? Later on, if the item is new, you have to assign to the child inventory. If there is no any if there is seeded item, so no need to provide the assign item to the child inventory, right? Now we have to run this collect planning data. If your item is created, if you define the price, you set the B2B attribute, and you assign the item to the child inventory, so all the information we have to map, you have to synchronize with the order management, right? So in that way we have to perform this collect planning data, right? We have to perform this, and we have one more task, that is refresh, and we have the refresh and start order promising, right? We have to perform later on, we will. And at the same, right, we have set the price, you can see it is the item price, so we have to set the price at the purchasing level. At the same, we have to set the price at the sales order level, right? At the price, we have to add the item to the price list, right? So whenever you set the item to the price list, at that time we have to provide the item price for the sell order, right? Suppose you purchase the item at the 100 USD, right? But you sells the item at 150 USD, right? So you have to provide the price at both, at the purchase level and at the sales level, right? Hope you understand, right? Now we have to create the ATP rule. In previous session, we have already seen how to create the ATP rules, create the sourcing rules, and check the default sourcing agreement assignment set, right? And what is the setup of sourcing assignment set? What are the default procurement preparer? Whenever we define the procurement setups, at that time we create the procurement agent. At that time we select the procurement preparer, right? And we have the default buyer, right? We all these things we already done in our previously sessions, right? No need to perform all the things. And recently our instance gets refreshed, so all the setups gets also the refresh, right? So, and our default shift to location and build to location, and this default shift to location and build to location already seeded in our uh, supplier information, right? So at the supplier side, we already set this shift to location and build to location, right? And we have one more option, that is we have to enable the customer sales order fulfillment in the procurement offering. So we can see how we enable this option offering in our application. Later on, we have to again run this collect planning data, right? We have to run this refresh and start order promising server. So these two ESS job will get lots of time, like 15 to 20 minutes and half an hour, right? So it's take time, right? Now let's move next setup. Now all the setup, after completing the setup, you can create the purchase agreement. Why we creating the purchase agreement? Because based on the item, what is the agreement you have done with this supplier. If you already created this purchase order, no need to create this one, and simply you can create the sales order, right? Because if you create the new item, so this is mandatory that you have to create the purchase agreement, on which agreement you procure the item from the supplier, what is the payment term you have decide for our supplier. See, all the things we have to set, right? You create the sales order, and we have the release planning recommendation, right? Suppose you create the sales order and your option is enable. Which option? The B2B attribute. You can see over here B2B attribute. So at that time, whenever you set this one, the system create the purchase requisition and PO automatically, right? You can see on the screen, whenever you set the B2B attribute in our application and you create a sales order, so again this sales order system will create the purchase requisition and purchase order, right? This is the automation, right? And in that case, if system will it not generate any purchase requisition and purchase order, at that time you have to run this release and planning recommendation job, right? Because some issue occur at that time, so it recommended that we have to run this release planning recommendation job, right? It's not mandatory, but if you face any issue, you can run this, right? And after creating the purchase acquisition and PO, we have to create the receipt. How to create the receipt? We have the two option. One is receive expected shipment, and second is put away receipt, so that our items first come from supplier to in our receiving area. After put away receipt, the item move from receiving area to the inventory area, right? So after doing this all the things, you have to check the on hand quantity. When you check the on hand quantity, it means our quantity, our items completely comes under our inventory area from the supplier, right? After that, after this task, we have to perform this pick release. So the based on the sales order, we perform the pick release, and after that we perform the ship confirmation, and after this is the shipping execution, right? And after that we run one ESA job, that is import auto invoice. So the system will create the auto invoice in our application, right? So this is a complete back to back, and you can say P2P, sorry, B2B, B2B sales order process, right? Hope you understand all the things how you can perform this one, because all most of the things, or most of the tasks we have already seen our we already done in our previously sessions, right? So we only navigate some basic setup, we'll see, and rest of the things we already seen, right? So let's take this one, right? Sorry. So let's start with the uh, price item level, right? No issue. So go to the our application, and what we have done, right? Go to the navigator, go to the product management where we create the item, and you can navigate to the previously created item, right? So this is our product management. Go to the PIM, right? We have already know that how to create the item, how to assign the item to our inventory, right? And how to define the price at the procurement level. We already seen our last session, right? So we will only navigate to our some CD data so that we can uh, see the high level of this B2B sales process, right? So let's click on this manage item, right? Now let's search our item, that is AT675100, right? So this is our serial data provided by the Oracle, and this item is already assigned to this organization, that is our operation, that is our planta, right? And all the, right, this is our item, right? So let's go to the child inventory organization level, right? So you can see this is our custom tablet, and we have on the overview, click on the specification. Under the specification and go to the item organization, click on this purchasing, right? So under purchasing, you can see over here we have the pricing level. So this is the uh, purchase price, at what amount you are going to procure the item from the supplier. We have to define on that place, right? So this is our purchase price. You can see this is already defined over here, right? And this is purchased is, yes, we have to define this one, right? So this is our purchasable item. Click on this sales order management. So what have we have the configuration of the sales and order management. So we have the back to back enabled, right? We have the option yes and no. So we have to enable this back to back enable so that we perform this B2B sales order process, right? We have the ATP component and we can check the ATP, right? Suppose we select this material only, we decide set this material and resource both, right? You can set over here, right? And we have the fulfillment, tolerance, invoicing over here. What are the payment term for this? You can set over here, right? No issue. We'll set after some time, right? So this is at our uh, pricing level and as well as at the sales level, right? So as the pricing level, we set the price, right? We set the procurement price, and at the sales order, we configure our back-to-back enable, right? So cancel out. We already set this one. Now what is the next one is we assign the item to the child inventory. We already set this item to our child inventory. No issue. We will take this 002 is our child inventory. Now run collect planning data. So if you create the item and we set this price and we set the B2B attributes and we assign the item to the child inventory, so at that time we have to perform this collect planning data. Right now we no need to perform uh, this task because we already done these things, right? Now add the item to the price list, right? So at the price list we can define our sales order sell price, right? So let's go to the this one. Let's done. So go to the order management, click on this navigator, go to this. We have the order management, click on this pricing administrator, right? So at the pricing level, you can see we have the discount list, price list, and return price list, right? So we have the price list. Click on this name, and we will check our item. Right. So let's search our item is now. Let's copy the item number. Copy it. Let's paste it over here. Let's search it. Right. So our item is not in our price list. So let's create, right, and we can add. So let's click on search. Now let's search if you have the item over here. So from here you can add the item to our price list, right? Suppose we had add the S46336, right? Suppose we take this item, right, and we select this one and click on this create charge, right? So you can see we have the pricing charge definition. You can set this is our sell price, right? So what is our sales price? You can define over, suppose 329, and you can say the 100. Suppose we have the 500 US and INR. You can change up to USD, no issue. I'm just navigate how to set the price at the sales level, right? So this is our sales price over, you can define over here, right? And you can save and close, so that you can, right, save and close, and you can set over here. Let's define this one and save and close. Unit of measure, what is the unit of measure? No issue. Pricing, unit of measure. Let's check here. We have to go to view columns, show all. I think here we have to define, right, this is our pricing unit of measure. You have to first we have to right. So this is in this way you can add the item in the price list, right? No issue. Now let's go to the next. This is create ATP rules. So we have already created the ATP rule in our previously sessions. Now let's navigate to our CD data. Click on this navigator, go to the order management, and click on this global order promising. Here you can create and you can take the seeded ATP rules, right? So let's click on this task list, and we have click on this manage ATP rules, and we have also this manage sourcing rules, right? And manage assignment set. We have already set it down all the things, right? So we have this one. Let's search our item. We have the assigned to item, that is this one. Search it out, right? We have already create the ATP rules for this item. You can see, right? And we can click on this. We can edit it, right? You can see what is the supply chain availability search, what is the lead time we already set, and under the supply chain availability we search the attribute like on hand purchase order, supply requisition, internal requisitions, right? We can search it out on this attribute, right? This is the ATP rules over here. So and we have the user defined in days, 100 days, right? So cancel out. right? Click on this task list, click on this manage sourcing rule, and what is organization? 002 is our organization, right? So this is our uh, sourcing rule, right? So what is the organization? This is name. What is the name? M002, right? This is the description. Make it 002, right? What is the planning activities? Yes. So this is our sourcing rule. You can add it over here, and if you want to create, you can create, right? And what is the sourcing rule? You can define over here, and this is our type. What is the type? Like a transfer form, make it, and buy from. So you can set like buy from, and transfer from, right? You can set over here. So this is our sourcing from procure to have to we have the sources वगैरह you can set over here, right? So we have the resourcing rule over here, and at the same we have the assignment set. So based on the resourcing rule we set the assignment. So we have the global order promising assignment set, right? So you can see this is our item organization. We have already set this one in our previously sessions. Or how we can set this order promising assignment, right? This is at the item and the organization level, and you can also set at only the organization level, right? You can see over here at the global level, item level, and we previously we set the item and organization level, right? So you can see, and this is our organization 001. We have the item, so you can search by the item, search it out. Yes, we have already set at the item and the item organization level, right? So this is our the set assignment, and we have the default assignment set, right? So we have checked the sourcing, default sourcing assignment set, and sourcing assignment set we have already see it. And what is the default procurement preparer? So we can check this one, like just note it down. Let's click on another one, cancel out, right. Click on this navigator, go to the setup and maintenance, click on this task list, search. The task name is manage order management parameter. Click on this, and we have the yes, prepare for the procurement. Click on that, and you can see our business unit is US1 business unit, and the prepare is Calvin Routh, right? So this is our prepare in our application, right? So we already set, right? No issue. And what is the default buyer? Buyer is already set. You can also see this one, like no, cancel out, yes, and we have to search. The task name is manage buyer. One second. Right. So we have to search the manage buyer assignment, right? Manage assignment via rules. Click on that, right? And you can search. So what is the procurement BU and what level of this is our procurement BU, right? Requisitioning BU. This is also the procurement BU. So this is already set the default rule, right? No need to worry about. Cancel out. And whenever we create the uh, supplier, at that time we already set the ship to location and bill to location, right? And let's check the enable the customer sales order fulfillment in the procurement offering. So let's done. Click on this action, go to this, go to offerings, right? Go to the procurement. Here's the procurement. This is the procurement. Change procurement. Click on this opt to feature, opt-in feature. This is already, I think, enabled. We just navigate and check all the setups, right? This is seeded setup. You can see this is our purchasing. Under the purchasing, we have go to the purchasing and procurement. Sorry, go to the procurement and click on this edit feature. Right. So this is our, you can see customer sales order fulfillment. This is already enabled. Right. You can see it's already enabled. It's done. Right. So go to this one now. Run the collect planning data and refresh the start order promising. We have already seen how to perform this task because this task is takes like 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, you can create the purchase agreement. You create the sales order, and based on the sales order, the system creates the purchase requisition and purchase order. After that, you create the create receipt, check on hand quantity, perform the pick release, ship confirm, and we perform the auto invoicing task, right? So this is the P2P sales order process, right? How we create, suppose this is the uh, order we have, this is the P2P sales order process where customer uh, generate a requirement to our organization that he required some laptop. So system will create one purchase order. So based on the sales order, the system create the purchase requisition and purchase order, right? So against the sales order, so supplier create ship, and you can say the supplier send the item to our organization, and at the end the organization ship that quantity to the customer A. So all these setups, whenever you complete all these setups, you create these things, right? And all the things we have already done, how to create the agreement, we have already done our previous session. And this is and after creating this sales order, the O2C cycle is performing over here, right? We already done this one, right? So no need to perform again and again, right? So whenever you are doing any practice, you have to perform some setup like this, and this all the setups, and after that we create the sales order, and based on the sales order, system create the purchase requisition and purchase order, and after that we create the receipt on, and you can check the on hand quantity, you perform the pick release, ship confirm, and auto invoice in accounts receivable, right? So this is a big picture of back-to-back sales order process, right? Hope you understand, right? So thanks for attending this session. Thank you so much.
Recording